Whether you're buying a house as your new home or as an investment, you want to get a good deal, right? But prices are so high right now, when will they be cheap again? When is the best time to buy a house in 2021? Well, I'll let you know. Let's go. Hi, my name is Matt Theriault, CEO of Epic Real Estate, where we give real estate investors an edge by showing them how to buy low and sell high so they can retire early. Everyone deserves to know how to do that. That's why we're here. But you may be thinking right now, how do you do that with property prices at their all-time highs? I mean, when will they be low again? That's the question that's on everyone's mind. Everybody wants that answer. Well, the answer is laying right out there in broad daylight. But to see it, you're gonna have to challenge your thinking a bit. And here's what I mean. To see good, cheap houses, it will require a shift in mindset from that of a consumer of the economy to that of a producer of the economy. That means for most people, ignore everything you've ever been told about money. To know the best time to buy a house, there are three things that you want to pay attention to. 1, interest rates. 2, payments. And 3, inflation. So number 1, the interest rate. This is the fee that you pay for using someone else's money. And that's really important to understand when investing in real estate, because you can get rich using your own money, but you can get wealthy using someone else's. And real estate provides the ability to do this like no other investment available to the average person. The lower the interest rate, the better. Number 2, payments for the use of other people's money. That's important as it determines the affordability of a house. That's why the car salesman doesn't talk too much about, if at all, the price of the car that you're buying, but rather the payment you can afford to make each month. People, they buy houses the exact same way. Most people want the nicest house they can get for the lowest monthly payment. Now, number 3, inflation. This is a complicated subject and an underrated aspect to timing the market. My good friend, Jason Hartman, he let me in on this. Inflation is when the purchasing power of your dollar falls. And per the massive amounts of money being printed to fund the unprecedented stimulus programs due to COVID-19, the purchasing power of your dollar, it's plummeting. Now, you won't feel it right away. It takes a minute to kick in. But considering we experience on average 2% inflation per year, and we have for the last 100 years. And being there was more money printed in 2020 than in the last 100 years, you will feel it. But you might not have to wait too long for this to help you find a good deal on your next house. Stay with me. Let's look at interest rates. They're at all-time lows, and you'll see that they can't go much lower. So if you're going to borrow money from a bank to buy your next house, you might not ever find a lower interest rate than you can find right now. The interest rate, it establishes your payment. Low interest rate equals low payment, of which translates to the lower the interest rate, the more house you can afford, or the nicer neighborhood that you can afford to live in without it impacting your cost of living. If you're shopping for an income property, this lower payment will increase your monthly positive cash flow, getting you even closer to that early retirement. So how interest rates and payments work together, that's pretty common knowledge. But the third element to finding good real estate deals, inflation, that's not so common. Like I said, it's a complicated topic. But for the sake of finding good deals in the real estate market right now, you need to know this about inflation. 1, it's a hidden tax that destroys the purchasing power of your dollar. Things don't necessarily get more expensive over time. You just need more of your devalued dollars to buy those same things. 2, when your dollar is devalued, it destroys the value of your savings, stocks, bonds, cash, equity, and thankfully, the value of your debt. You see, inflation works against the saver. Yet inflation favors the borrower. This is what I meant earlier when I said you might have to challenge your thinking and forget much of what you've ever learned about money. Let's keep going though. We're almost there. With the pandemic, social injustices, and politics that dominated the news last year, you might have missed this. Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, announced a major policy shift. He said the central bank will be more inclined to allow inflation to run higher than the standard 2% target before hiking interest rates. Now this is important because a higher than normal inflation rate has essentially been promised to happen before interest rates rise, promised by the very person that controls it. Now, 2% might not sound like much, but over 100 years, that equates to more than a 2,000% decrease in the value of your dollar. And you'll see in just a minute how this has impacted the housing market and how it will help you find a good deal today. Another piece of news that you might have missed. In September, a Market Watch interview with Ray Dalio. He's a self-made American billionaire hedge fund manager. The primary topic of discussion in this interview was how Ray is predicting that the world will change in shocking ways over the next 5 years. Now, he concluded the interview with a few things to do, and one of his primary pieces of advice was worry as much about the value of your money as you worry about the value of your investments. The printing of money and the debt should make you aware of that. So the chairman of the Fed has all but promised inflation, and one of the richest men in the world is concerned. So here's how you put all of this together for anyone that's looking for the best time to buy a house. The chart on top that you see here shows the history of the median sales price of houses sold. The chart below shows the history of interest rates for a 30-year conforming mortgage. Now, I lined them up the best that I could to show you this. In 1985, the median sales price for a house was $80,000. The interest rate, 13.12%. And that resulted in a monthly payment of $892. And when you adjust that for inflation, that equates to a monthly payment today of $2,157. Now, fast forward 20 years to 2005, the median sales price for a house appreciated to $235,000. The interest rates at the time were 5.74%, of which naturally resulted into a higher mortgage payment of $1,370. But when adjusted for inflation, that payment actually fell to $1,825, making the same house actually more affordable for the times. When we look at today, with the median sales price of a house at an all-time high, most people think they missed the boat considering the median sales price is $320,000, understandably. But when you factor in today's interest rate of 3.65%, you get an even lower monthly payment of $1,464 for that same house. Here, look at this. I laid out the median monthly payment of a conforming 30-year fixed mortgage and then adjusted it for inflation. So if you are here, per this chart, when is the best time to buy a house? Share with me your thoughts below. Also, who else do you know that should see this? When their name comes to mind, please share it with them. Oh, and if you're already subscribed to the channel, I pulled this video out special for you to watch next. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.